We're heading to our third game of the day here at the NLC, and we have Kova versus Fnatic coming your way. Now, any other day of the week, any other split, you probably would have hands down said Fnatic Rising win this easily. However, Fnatic have not looked absolutely clean coming into the NLC thus far, and Kova really brought a tough game to M&M yesterday. So even though I still believe Fnatic to be favored here, I do genuinely think this could be closer than one would think, given normal circumstances.
I'm honestly quite worried for Fnatic. I don't mean to make it like sound super over dramatic, but thinking of the Fnatic that has been winning everything so far that's concerned in the UK scene and now in the NLC as well, and now coming in with a very confused draft, I would say. It didn't necessarily have one plan that they had to follow, and then it wasn't necessarily the sub in the top lane that kind of, you know, took the ship down. It was kind of everyone, you know, chiming in on that. It just looked extremely confusing, and I'm just expecting to see that dominance we've been talking about. Like, Gulbo was like very, you know, he took the whip out. He was like, I want to see dominance, nothing less. And honestly, if it's time for them to do it, it is against a team like Kova.
And honestly, I don't think I'm asking much of a guy that has the LCS title. I think that he did well yesterday. But the thing is, my main problem with Fnatic Rising is that they do not look like a team. So it doesn't matter if you have a guy that's as skilled as Fepevin is, if you're not finding ways to implement him in a team atmosphere and actually find playstyles where you can work together. But at the end of the day, he's not going to be able to carry 4 guys. You need to play around as a team. And yesterday, they were just like, they looked so lost. They looked so scattered out on the map. And it was just sad to see, honestly. But we are getting back to something here, and that is we first picked the Graves from Maxi. Maxi was underwhelming to me as well, because Maxi is the kind of laner where you're like, oh, the jungler where I need to be played for. But we didn't really see that yesterday. I want to see that now.
So we've actually got Lingard in the top lane here for Fnatic Rising. Now, you know, we were led to believe that that was a sub for them, so they maybe weren't, you know, playing at their utmost capacity. But again, you know, we'll have to see how it plays out. You know, Fnatic have the talent that even with a sub top lane, they should be able to take advantages on the map. And again, I think Maxi, he's kind of known for the Graves, right, Gulbo? He's kind of known for the Graves in this scenario. So giving him something that he feels super comfortable on, a pick that is like essentially characteristically his, maybe this is the right platform for Fnatic to start from.
Yeah, we're seeing Graves into Lilia again, same as last game. I think these are 2 champions that work really well, just farming in the jungle. And Gulborg celebrating as well.
Gulborg sees 2 ADCs, best day of the week.
That's just how it is. Like, Aphelios Thresh, you've seen that so much into the Kai'Sa. It works really well in the lane, and kind of just counters what she wants to do in general. And we'll see what Kova can do here to kind of mediate that, because that is something that can be quite hard to play against down in that bot lane.
But here's the thing as well, because now, okay, what are we rounding it up with? We're getting some identity. We can play for the bot side here with the Aphelios Thresh, and we have the Graves. But we need a frontliner now, and we need something maybe with the shield. Maybe an Orianna would be good here. Maybe the Syndra as well. So as you can already see, Camille login comes through here. They start immediately banning out the Malphite. I think they can just go on the tanks if they want to, because that's what they need from Fnatic Rising side. And while you know they need a tank, then you also know, oh, I won't have any congestion in the side lane then, because I have a Camille. We can just split push. That's going to be great for gaining pressure.
Yeah, I want to see Kova just ban all the dog champs here in top lane, because Lingard's, you know, he's an AD carry player. He doesn't play top lane. So he's obviously going to be put on something really easy, really simple. And the more that you can take him out of his comfort zone by taking away those simple kind of tanky champions, I think the better it is, the more you can exploit him, right? And I think that is definitely an avenue for Kova to have success in this game, especially when you've picked that Camille top. And as you were mentioning, Gulborg, like having that kind of tankier options in the support role, and that engage as well. We're seeing Alistar and Galio both being banned away here, so not going to have options for either of those.
Oh, they've got plenty of options for Rai. The big man, the big, I don't know what's it called. Is it a keg? The one that you have wine in is still in there, but why do you need all that when you have Rakan? Okay, I'm more of a fan of the Gragas, I'm not gonna lie, because it can really mess up with the Camille if Lingard chooses to pick it up in the top lane, or even if Fevin wants to take in the mid lane as well. But I do like Rakan. It's a really fun champion to watch, but he has so much CC and survivability in his kit that he can sort of surround a whole fight and you see so many plays, and the Thresh is not necessarily a champion that can stop Rakan from doing that, like a Leona or like a Nautilus, so he's going to have much more freedom to move around the team fights.
Wow, I'm going to be... Okay, that's just a hover. We're not going to talk about it until it's locked in. I really like the Rakan pick. It's a lot of flexibility in team fights. You don't really have any CC that can lock him down, and that is actually a Maokai coming through. So not even going for the own here. And you wanted dog champions, but the thing is, this Maokai on the side lane is going to get heavily outscaled. So what you want from this team come of Fnatic Rising, that is, you want them to be able to succeed on the team play that they really haven't shown yet. Obviously, it's only been one game, but they really need to make it work. They really need to make the early objectives work together, because if they're not, if they're falling behind going into the late game, they're going to have a lot of issues.
Yeah, I'm just the one thing that I'm just not really 100% sold on for Fnatic's draft. I think overall this is a good draft. It's just Featherman is playing more of the facilitator role with this Orianna. I don't really think there's a huge amount of pressure being put like on his shoulders here. He had to blind pick this as well. And I just think, you know, Featherman is a monster. He should be an NEC, man. And like he's playing an NLC here, and it's not necessarily that kind of like me play me carry type pick, you know. And that's the only thing I have reservations about for Fnatic's comp. But outside of that, I think they've drafted something that's very well rounded with good win conditions.
My biggest worry for Fnatic here is, who do you play for in the early game? Possibly through the Thresh lane, because you don't want to go over to Lingard in the top lane. He has put himself in a losing matchup with the Maokai because he wants to lose gracefully in a tank, have the engage that are on, fair enough. The Orianna is going to struggle versus the Syndra at the starting stages of the game, so you gotta play through the Aphelios Thresh lane, which is very obvious for anyone. On the other side, you've got Syndras, you've got Kaisers, you've got Camille's in the top lane. You will never know where this Lilia is going to land, because it's just so much setup and so much carry potential from early to mid to late game in every single lane from Kova. And if they play this right, and if they manage to snowball 1 or 2 lanes in the early game, they can definitely run away with it.
Well, we'll see, because I think this feels like a very must-win game for Fnatic. Like, if you're losing here to Kova, then Fnatic's not looking like it's going to brighten. I mean, obviously, the main goal for Fnatic, like winning NLC, clearly, but then European Masters. Like, for Forbidden, he took this opportunity to play through the European regional leagues, to get to European Masters, to, you know, find another shot at the LEC. This is a must-win. Absolutely must-win for Fnatic. So let's hand it over to our casters as we get into game.
Can't say any better, really. It is a must-win for Fnatic, and losing versus Barrage on the first day of the league is probably been a real hit in the gut for them. They are known as, you know, the best team in the league. They've not dropped since forming Fnatic Rising a single tournament they've been involved in, ignoring EU Masters, but we'll move on from that. Any of their home competitions, at least. And
it's a weird that, by the way, domestically. You can just say that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's the better word. But yeah, losing to Barrage, massive upset. Honestly, Barrage looked like a real contender as well. And I think we've actually got quite a few teams that look pretty stacked now. I came into this league, into spring, going, okay, it looks like NLC is just going to be Excel and Fnatic again. These two teams look way ahead of the others. But actually, I think we do have a pretty solid mid to top side of the pack right now. And Fnatic are going to have to really show us that they belong up there, because that loss was a very convincing loss. Barrage walked through Fnatic.
I think a lot of people looked at the NLC this split and they saw Fnatic and XL bringing Worlds level players onto the rosters. And that's not an exaggeration by any means. I mean, literally Worlds level players on the rosters. People thought it is so clear cut. There's 2 E-Master spots. There's 2 teams going. It's XL and Fnatic. But as the split starts, as things tend to do, it hasn't been as clear cut so far. It's still early days. There's still the expectation that Fnatic are going to ramp up, but any losses they take on early, it's going to put them behind. Potentially, they could end up in a second seed spot if they continue to lose games. And if that ends up happening, they could face XL in the first round, could be in with a rough spot. But, you know, realistically, I expect them to bounce back. Now is the time to do it.
Well, let's keep our eyes on Fnatic and see if they can round this out. Kova, actually really liking what they're doing. Like they were saying on the desk, the Camille just will hard outscale the Maokai in the side lane and will eventually become a problem.
And here's the issue for me with Fnatic, is they only have 1 TP and it's on Maokai.
Yep.
So like they picked the Maokai because they wanted engage. But the problem is Maokai is going to be trapped in the side lane by Camille. And the rest of Fnatic's composition, it's designed so that if Kova engage into them, Fnatic flourish. But all Kova have to do is not engage. Realistically, if they don't engage, all you're worried about is like a Thresh hook. If you're playing things optimally, which is a big if, mistakes happen. Definitely probably will be windows where Fnatic can find a fight without Lingard necessarily being there. But if they fall behind and Kova play this well, they don't have to engage on them. And Fnatic are going to struggle to force a fight without the Maokai. And even then, the Maokai is not like a Mal fight. It's not like a hard, instant force a fight. It's not a... Find a flank with it, sure, you can definitely find opportunities. But I could very much see this becoming a tricky one to navigate if Fnatic fall behind. But with the caliber of players, we expect them to come out strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, pretty standard start here. Both the junglers starting up on the blue side. So we'll be on the opposite side of the map. Might see a bit of a map split or maybe some early attention put in different places. Outlandish could look to try and get Tatooine going in this top side versus Lingard. Keep our eyes on that. Remember, this is another game where Fnatic are technically playing with a fill. Lingard is their sub 80 carry. So off-roll is something we do have to keep in mind, but is on the Maokai, so...
It's got to weather the storm, essentially. Bot lane put a lot of pressure down, though. Level 1 from Thresh Aphelios, pretty strong. The harass from Aphelios with multiple guns. And also just Thresh having to play in the auto means easily able to find priority here. And I think it's kind of telling where the junglers are pathing towards and also where they have priority. We'll see Outlandish finishing up his clear on the top side. Lingard is pushing the tower. Now, typically, in an equal skill matchup, Syndra should be finding priority against Orianna, but I'm not going to fault Proka too much for maybe having a bit of a hard time against Febiven.
Febiven is chunks pretty hard. Same for Proka. Does still have a biscuit to work with, though. She will chug away on, so a bit of sustain coming in, while Proka, the Corrupting Potion, has used both the pots, so that is it as far as lane sustain goes now.
But he does have TP, so how's that going for him? I think you have to reset now and go for the TP. I mean, I guess Febiven's not going to be back for a while, so you have time, but you're going to be kind of slow to push this out.
Yeah, it's going to be a very slow push. Febiven gets back to base, gets the tier and a control ward, so we're going to start that tier up as soon as possible. Very nice base for him overall.
Febiven could just freeze this, and Maxi's in the vicinity.
I think it crashes before he gets there. Actually, no, he might be alright.
Yeah, I mean, the cannon's going to help push it out, so it should be okay. It's fine. We're chilling. I mean, this is the window I was talking about. If Maxi wanted to, potentially could punish a TP in a position like this. But Proka comes back in, gets a pretty nice trade, and we instantly have a pause.
Yeah, do get a little pause. Is what it is. Hopefully we'll find out exactly what's going on in that, and won't be too long before we get back into the action.
The lag is what we heard.
Oh, okay, there we go. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately we expect Fnatic to be coming out strong, and I think a lot of Alliance here on the bot lane to be doing well. Because I think if Aphelios gets strong, you can just play super aggressive with him. Thresh can move forwards. He can set up a lot of plays. It's really just mitigating the disadvantage that you're inevitably going to have top lane. Lingard's still doing fine now, but there's going to come a point where the Camille is just going to be monstrously strong. And there's avenues in team fights for Fnatic to play around that. So if Kova do go for hard engage, Fnatic have a team comp that can match that. But the problem is, if they don't team fight, they don't have great answers. They don't have that engage outside of the Maokai. They don't have someone who can deal with them in the side lane with a teleport. It's where it can become precarious.
That's what we really need to keep our eyes on is Fnatic. It feels like the onus is on them to be a little bit proactive in this game, while Kova, they can get themselves sometimes. Obviously, Kai'Sa wants to get those 2 items realistically. Once you've got the Gale Force and the Collector, you start to really pop off. If you can get them relatively safe, will always work out for them. And Tatooine obviously building towards either the Divine Sundra or the Trinity Force. I assume it'll probably be a Trinity Force, but Divine Sundra obviously not an awful option either.
Likely will be the Triforce. And that extra burst damage in team fights is really relevant, but also just to buy Sundra. Not going to get huge value in this game.
Oh, good scatter into instant cleanse. Febiven will give over a Dark Harvest stack, though.
Get the cleanse, but not the flash. But Priestix losing your cleanse against a Lilia Syndra is pretty dangerous, because when those ultimates come in, a lot of kill potential available.
Yeah, good stuff from Proker, actually. Consistently finding these scatter the weeks onto Febby. Chunking him very heavily. Febiven just going to try and catch this wave. The hook is going to connect from Rux. They actually have the Lantern to work with here. Just going to get a bit of return trade. Good scatter the week, but Maxi flashes forward and secures first blood. Just as I was praising Proker, he goes down.
Still not respecting the fact that Rux was there, because he saw him, he knew he was in that bush, and he played with fire. Ends up getting burnt.
Well, we can have a little look at that one again. Yeah, like you see, so he just
literally just seen him, and I think the decision, like when you saw him walk up, Proker went to get a ward down near the pixel brush. And I just think that's the wrong decision. You don't have the backup from your team. Enemy support's there. You got to assume the enemy jungler's there. He's a lantern away. End up being greedy for the vision. Ends up going down for it.
Pretty costly stuff there. Starting to accrue a bit of a lead over Snormy, but Snormy does have a wave to catch, so should be able to deal with that on his own. As Febiven, now in the receiving end of a bit of attention, gets the speed up from the dissonance, dodges out on the swirl seed, but it's going to get caught, throws a shockwave down. That's the flash forward, and Proker loses his life again. Another hook by Rux is going to connect, and Fnatic looking a lot more decisive, a lot more crisp here.
Oh, could see Nolan here as well.
Hextech Ultimatum will go onto him, and Lingard going to go for the Arcane Smash back. Has the flash if he wants to clear the wall. Is going to barrel towards his team to get to safety. Fnatic don't lose their top laner. Get 2 kills mid now, and will turn this into a dragon for themselves.
So that's all you need, and I got to give credit to Rux here. He has been the facilitator in both of those plays, making good roams, and this is what you want to see from a high-level support. Is you want to see them making movement, moving towards mid, being in position. So if you do go for a gank, I mean, that's the exact scenario that happened there. Outlandish and Proker had 2 members, Fnatic Rising had 3. Simple math, the 3 is going to win out over the 2 in most scenarios. And I think a big issue as well is they went for that play before Proker was level 6. I think that was ultimately a mistake. I don't think it would have changed anything there, but if you're going for that play, you should have your ultimate available. That extra damage can come in invaluable.
Another wave's just getting shoved in. It feels like Snormy and Tiara are just not really able to kind of have any impact in this lane. Always worried about Rux and Bean. A lot of safety as well for Rux and Bean. Tiara probably needs that quickness to keep Bean locked up on before he can lantern to safety from him. So they are just playing around that for the moment. And we do take stock of where the items are right now towards this bot side. There's a Noon Quiver just finished up for Snormy and the pickaxe. It's attack speed boots and double long sword of a dagger. So all of the components of that Noon Quiver onto Bean right now.
Yeah, I think the movement speed really valuable in tier 2 boots when you're against the likes of Rakan. Because this is scenarios where he goes for his grand entrance and you can just like run out of it.
Yeah.
But again, Rux moving up, both members of the bot lane there, and this is a quick Herald pickup before Kova are even ready for it.
Feels like Fnatic have come to play now. Versus Barrage, they were caught off guard, I think, a little bit, and now looking to get a more dominating game. But lead at the moment, only 1,000 between both these teams, so nothing too big. And Kova, they're pretty happy just chilling.
I mean,
like I was saying, they get scaling in the top side, and Lingard getting jumped onto by Tatooine. The Hextech Ultimatum is about to come back up. Tatooine not going to pull that trigger yet.
It was actually really nicely played by Lingard. He W to dodge the stun. Maokai mechanics. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, I feel like even in the Barrage game, I don't think, like, it wasn't like the whole game Fnatic was struggling. Like, there was moments where Fnatic looked like they could find momentum, and then they ended up overstepping, ended up making mistakes. So there's still possibility for that to happen, and we've talked about the benefits of Kova's comp in the late game. Febiven in a very aggressive position, but
yeah, he's getting collapsed on all fronts here. Gonna put him to sleep as the shockwave comes in. Maxi slides forward. Tatooine looking for Maxi. Teleport from Fnatic, and now they've got the number advantage. Lingard flashes forward, catches him with everything. Hextech Ultimatum means Lingard will get the kill. And Lantern to safety to follow as well. Rux going for the hook. Once again, Proker takes everything And Featherman just getting more damage in. Maxi secures a kill in exactly the same spot as last time. Proker twice in a row gets hooked over the wall. Rux is playing out of his mind. Meanwhile, Bean actually jumping onto Snormy, gets him with the Graviton. Got a lot of damage to work with. I don't think Snormy's going to be able to survive this one. Moonlight Vigil's flashed away. Snormy does have the ulti and the heal if he wants. He's going to use the heal for now, but Rux flashes him forward. Snormy may just have to go all out here. Goes Jack in with the ulti, trying to survive, but Rux is making his way forward. And Bean gets the solo kill, while the Rifttail does a serious amount of damage to his tower in the mid lane.
I mean, this is what we expected from Fnatic on day one. Destructive gameplay across the map. Gonna see again that play around mid, and it's kind of uncoordinated. They want to go for Febiven, but Shockwave here catches Outlandish out, and then the TP from Lingard is beautiful. And this is the mistake with this play, is that the AD carry for Kova's on the other side of the map, but for Fnatic Rising as a top laner, so he can TP in, join the fight from a really good position. And then once again, Rux knows exactly where he needs to be. Proker's trying to work out how he can dodge this. Rux doesn't miss.
Honestly, just incredibly crisp hooks from Rux. He's been playing very, very competently on the fresh. We do have a look back towards his top lane again. Bean just kind of just runs Snormy down. Snormy didn't have any ability to turn this.
I mean, he knew he couldn't win this 1v1, especially with the minion wave there. That's the critical decision. Bean walks up with the minion wave. If Snormy goes for the Q and it mostly hits minions. And I mean, this is a power for the Aphelios into the Kai'Sa matchup. This is why it's picked, because, you know, Kai'Sa wants to dash in, she's short range, she wants to dual use. You can do it effectively against a lot of AD carries, but not Aphelios, especially not an Aphelios with exhaust. And Bean just showed that off there. 3,000 gold lead already for Fnatic, a tower and a dragon in pocket as well. And you can see the map movements coming out, zoning Snormy away with very little avenue to sort of defend against that. This is the problem with mid tower being the first to go out. These side lanes are vulnerable.
Yeah, and Bean just getting so much free time. He's been solo farming away. Got a level lead over Snormy. Got a big CS lead as well, and he's going to take this turret for himself. That's all of the plates in his pocket from that top side. A lot of additional gold. You can see right now on your screen the gold lead between him and Snormy. 1,400 gold. As Tatooine actually jumping onto Lingard here. Lingard, he's pretty tanky at the moment, although Outlandish is in the area. Same with Tiara. So Lingard just going to throw out the Nature's Grasp. He's going to try and catch on to a couple of people, but I don't know if he's going to be able to survive this one. The Lilting Lullaby into the Charm, into the Hextech Ultimatum. Tatooine's going pretty low. And the tower shot's there. Oh, Lingard, no. 1 versus 3, actually outplayed that.
It was a missed execution as well. Outlandish needed to take one more tower hit. I mean, I guess maybe the thought process is we're being collapsed on, we need to get out now, but Outlandish had the HP to do so. There was a lot of aggro resetting there, which was good, but I think the timing was just a little bit off. And again, credit to Lingard, he played that as well as he could. But you see a return play coming in from Kova, and it just doesn't compare to what Fnatic have been able to pull off. And now Bean got the chakram stacked up, just shred through that tower, and the gold lead is just ballooning at this point.
Yeah, you're going to get a bunch more plates before they fall off. I reckon you'll get about 2 plates before we...
2 million plates.
Oh, he actually got 3 plates. Okay, he got 3 plates before the plates fell off.
He's still going. He's got 30 seconds. He's got ages.
He can't take the tower, right? He might actually.
Yeah, he can. That's why he's killing the minions and not hitting the tower.
That is 15 plates for Fnatic.
You got to remember the armor stacks when you take a plate, but it's conditional on how many champions are near. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it's only one person, it doesn't get that tanky, and you know it's an Aphelios. He does things. Oh, I mean, look at that goal difference between AD carries.
Oh no, Aphelios is back.
I mean, that's a big gap, I will say. And I think the execution for Fnatic's just been stellar. Had some concerns if they fall behind, but at the end of the day, it seemed to be a big if because they had no intention of even coming close to falling behind. And I'm going to give credit to Rux. I think he was instrumental in them finding success. Obviously, Featherman's the one everyone talks about when looking at Fnatic Rising, but I think Rux is a really big pickup.
Yeah.
And proven it in this game.
It's that support life, though, isn't it? You kind of get a little underappreciated, a little undervalued.
I mean, I don't think it's support life. I think one of the players is Featherman.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, support life plus Featherman makes for Rux. Gonna show off once again why he was picked up by forcing Proker the flash and missing a hook. Beautiful.
I mean, he gets the flash.
He gets the flash. Shockwave by Febby.
That one again.
enough to scare him away. And yeah, Broken now very exposed. Syndra without flash. Unless you can prop that phase rush, you have no way to move out.
So I will say, in fairness, Kova doing a pretty good job to keep up in CS. Finding the silver linings. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm glad we're finding something. Lingard could be on the receiving end of a gank again, but realistically, he's pretty tanky right now. He's got the Sunfire, and he's just going to be able to hold himself underneath the tower alone. Meanwhile, Bean's getting a bit of free time on this tower. Tatooine basically not even there, to be honest. He does not want to go near Bean. You know a game's gone bad when the top laner is the same level as the AD carry.
Oh, yeah. I remember... This is a throwback, but my friend who first introduced me to League of Legends was like, when AD carry is the highest level in the game, you know the game's over. Years ago, but still rings true, especially when it's an Aphelios.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken Slayer Aphelios as well is just going to be cutting through people right now. Outlandish maybe looking for Lingard here. They do have Tatooine on the way. Lilting Lullaby will put him to sleep. Buys a little bit of time for Tatooine to get close as Lingard trying to dodge away on everything. Does a lot of damage to Outlandish as he uses the Nature's Grasp to keep them pinned. Flashes away to safety, but here comes Rux with the shield. Here comes Rux with the turnaround. And meanwhile, Bean almost killing Tiara with the help of Maxi. Able to get away. And Kova have now just been found out on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, they're actually making it. They assumed that they'd be trying to hide in the alcove. But they went the other direction. They're able to get away.
And still a
Here's the advantage of being so far behind. All of Fnatic's vision is in Kova's jungle. So they don't have to worry about being spotted out by a ward.
I mean, Outlandish gets a counter jungle for that. Takes away the chickens and the red buff.
That's a winning play. But I will say it's kind of... You can see their game plan is to try and like punish Lingard. He's like the weak link. But Fnatic are just always ready to rotate over. Hovering in between the lanes and available to move. And like the fact that, you know, we're talking about this Camille split push opportunity. She's 500 gold down against the Maokai. She's a level down against the Maokai. Like, I'm not even sure if Tati wins a 1v1. Like, I think Lingard has a decent chance of actually coming out ahead at this point in the game. Obviously, Camille will get to... Well, I say that if Camille is allowed to, she can get to a point where she will just 100% win it.
Yeah.
But, not many items going for Tati right now, and I don't think Fnatic Rising intend to let her get to that point, especially as they're picking up the third dragon at only 18 minutes.
Trinity Force now finished up for Tatooine. But Fnatic getting their Ocean Drake, and we thought Lingard was hard to kill before. Once he gets Ocean Soul, if he gets Ocean Soul, he's going to be really hard to deal with, and that will just slow down Tatooine's 1v1 the potential for a little bit longer. Now they're going to deny the blue buff, and just feels a little bit crisp and clean here from Fnatic.
Hey, look what's happening again.
They're trading out here. Lingard's going to get a lot of attention thrown at him. Lilting Lullaby will put him to sleep. Going to continue to chain the CC in as Lingard will finally crumble as Outlandish gets him, but that was a lot they used to lose an inhibitor on the other side of the map. Charge is going to come down from Herald. They're not really going to get another charge out of this as the Shockwave actually connects onto Proka. He's so low! Collateral damage not quite enough, but Bean will finish it up, and the charge actually will connect onto the tower. Fnatic looking real good here. Tatooine slides in onto Rux, and Tiara goes in. Gets himself a 4-man knockoff. Stormy slides in onto the backline. Kova actually turning this around. Bean is turning the damage out, though. He can't die. Stormy able to survive for so much longer as Maxi looking for Outlandish. Kova have done it. Maxi goes golden. Outlandish trying to run away. Can they get the shutdown? Kova ace Fnatic in their base.
Beautiful engage coming out from Kova. It seemed like the game might be over, but they made the right call. They got the pick on the side lane finally, and with Maokai down and nowhere to TP in, they took the 5v4. Beautiful engage from Chara, and just some confident play from a team up against Fnatic. Because you see, the thing is, it's a 4v5. You don't have that front line. They commit the shockwave on a Proka, but then they dive so deep to finish off this kill, and Chara sees the window. The cooldowns aren't available. And it's just a beautiful engage here, especially Tati waiting out the flay from Rux. And once this follow-up comes in, the whole team commits. And everyone is so chunked already. It's only really Maxi who's a massive threat. Outlandish cleans up the rest of them, and it's just honestly beautiful play. A lot of teams at this point, it's hard to have the mentality, you know, we need to find a way to win, but they did. They found a way, not necessarily to win, but back into this game.
Yeah, that's really big. Snormy now with the Gale Force trying to get onto his Collector. It's a little bit of a ways away from that, unfortunately, for himself, but a lot of that gold did go into Outlandish as Bean's actually going to get connected by the Swirl Seed. Lingard getting the hook onto him as Rux is coming in, and Tatooine actually buying a bit of space. Doing a fair amount of damage. Kova collapsing in. Tatooine's actually going to commit here. Swirl Seed doesn't hit the mark, so no slow, and Kova going to back away from that play.
Still have a massive deficit, right?
Yes.
Can't move away from that, but I am looking at a Kova with a lot more life than we saw before. 402 on Outlandish.
Did feel a little bit like Kova
now.
kind of taking their hands off the wheel and let Fnatic control everything, and then
I don't think they had much of a choice, to be honest.
Just when they needed to find themselves a little something, but it's still very Fnatic favored.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any denying that.
I think the problem is everything aligned for Kova to find success there. I don't think Fnatic will make that mistake again. They're going to go for that dragon in a minute and a half, and getting that ocean dragon is going to make things extremely difficult for Kova. So you can see they want to move over and contest, but this is a fight where all the Fnatic have reset. Lingard's not going to die isolated. They have 5 members. They're full HP. They have all their cooldowns. It's a much more even fight in terms of that, but in terms of the goal difference, Fnatic are miles ahead. So this is going to take some outplaying from Kova to be able to secure this fight.
It really is. Now, we'll keep our eyes on that, the setup, the vision. So far, Kova do have the, I believe that's the Scuttle Crab in their favor. Swirl Seed is going to hit onto Lingard. Tatooine actually looking for Rux. Rux puts the box down and just zone away for the moment, as he's actually put to sleep by Outlandish. So that's now the Lilting Lullaby down. Hook from Rux isn't going to quite hit anybody yet. And there's a big wave pushing into Kova's base as Lingard jumps onto Tiara, but now with the Nature's Grasp and the Shockwave, that's the turn. That's what Fnatic needed. The Moonlight Vigil will spread. Snormy knows that his support is dead as he is just going to run to the wind. Lingard flashes in. Lingard! It's a double kill for Featherven. There was hope. There was life from Kova.
And Lingard just shuts it down. Subbing in, off-roll. He doesn't care. King of Maokai.
Broker gonna lose his life. He is just trying to hold the wave away from the base, and actually that stops Fnatic from ending right there. As Febby goes, I'm not gonna find you Outlandish, so I'm just gonna take your chickens.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard approach to try and get in on that dragon area. It was a great engage from Lingard, and that's the critical thing. There's no pressure from Tatooine side lane, so they can bring Maokai to any fight they want. The 4th dragon forces Kova to answer, and it was easy to find the engage the Maokai, and now they've secured the Ocean Soul miles ahead. Gonna see a replay, but yeah, Lingard just goes in, W's on the Char, and it's so unfortunate because he should have dashed away sooner. That ends up bringing the Maokai, bringing the ball in, allows him to chase through, and then Snormy, nothing left after getting away from that. Lingard just goes in with a flash, finds the bot lane, and really decisive play coming out.
But Broker did buy some time for the team. I think that's one thing to note is Fnatic maybe could have ended there, but the wave was just pulled so far away and cleared out in time.
I think we just saw earlier
and
why Fnatic won't risk trying to end. Because obviously that's where they made their last mistake, and I mean, yeah, it's tough to say.
He even ulted there. I mean, there is no way of surviving that one.
It's like, if Maokai wasn't there, I'd be a little bit more believing in the outplay potential, but Maokai just point and click kind of deals with you, you know? There's not very much outplay potential against that.
Question's really raised why Snormy was so far pushed up. When he knows Fnatic have control of the area, you know Baron's up, you know they're going to want to take it, so...
I think maybe those wards in the river...
for Fnatic.
I think maybe he moved up with Chirao to get those wards that you can see in the river, and then they felt like confident. Obviously a mistake. That's going to give him a Baron, but realistically, not sure how well they could contest that. Either way, we now have Baron in pocket, we have Ocean Soul in pocket. Kind of just dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point. Kova need another miracle. Well, they're going to be out this game.
Well, Fnatic with everything to prove, really, after their game versus Barrage. They are not making a single risk, making sure they get that soul, making sure they get that Baron before they close out this game. Kova have had a chokehold on them the entirety of this 24 minutes. There was a moment, there was a sign of life, but a sign of life is fading. Tiara maybe can find that miracle engage, but Lingard waiting in the wings. And it looks like Fnatic happy to take one tower, one inhibitor, back off and move back towards this mid lane. Outlandish just going to hold the wave and clear it out so they don't have a wave to push with instantly. Here comes Tiara, goes for the quickness, goes for the flash, gets the knock up onto one. That might be Maxi going pretty low as the shockwaves actually dodged away. Snormy finds himself a shutdown. Outlandish is traded back though. Beans still able to fire away. Proka going very, very low. Tapping flashes in forward. That's the stopwatch used as they lose the life. Rocks with the hook. So clutch. Bean gets a double kill. And Kova lose everybody. Massive scout of the week by Poker. Looking for Bean. Can't quite get him. Gets him with a Q. Now Lingard jumping in forward. Fnatic.
They can actually end.
No health bars here. They don't have the minions to end the game. Proka takes a lot of damage, gets a good scout of the week off, though. And he's just buying time. Lilia back up in 14 seconds. And Fnatic, once again, kind of getting thwarted in the base.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great engage from Chara. The fight started well. Started to go Fnatic favored, but Proka able to find some success in the end. And now, looks like they might try and find something here.
The old control ward.
Oh, the bowling ball.
Trick. Here it comes. The bowling ball hits Kevin. Is he going sleepy? Are they going to pull that trigger? No, they're not. Teleport's coming in. Kova, they are going for this. Tiara doesn't have ultimate, but Tatooine trying to get over the wall in time. A lot used there. Kova ultimately able to get it.
A close fight, though. We'll get a replay of that. So the initial engage, Maxi is incredibly strong, but he just essentially gets... There's nothing he can do. It's a great flash from Forbidden to get away, but Maxi isn't unfortunately able to do so. He gets put to sleep, gets trapped. And at this point, it's kind of even for both teams, but Bean is still able to put out a ton of damage, and Tati feels confident, but gets baited by the stopwatch. And then a beautiful hook from Rux. And at this point, it's like, okay, Fnatic can win the fight, but they just get greedy. They overcommit. They don't need to be chasing down Proka. They should just focus the tower. It's 4v2. Bide your time, let the Ocean Soul heal you up, but instead they get greedy. And I think this is the thing with Fnatic. Two times this game, both times they've lost those team fights, they've gotten greedy.
Well, Kova's still been able to hold onto this mid lane inhibitor tower. They got supers pushing in all of these side lanes, and you are looking at a 3.5 item Aphelios on Bean. Feels like Snormy would like to get his Hurricane before the next fight, but I don't think he chooses when these fights break out. It is all Fnatic as the Nature's Grasp will zone Kova away from their tower, and that might just be the opening they need. Tiara pops himself the quickness. They're going underneath the tower. Lingard's going to take a lot of damage. Tiara able to jump away to safety as Outlandish goes in. A massive shockwave by Featherfin. Tatooine's flayed away. Snormy slides in. Febby gets himself a double kill. Snormy has to run away. It's a triple kill, actually. The Moonlight Vigil is coming down as they lock him in place. Snormy will lose his life here as Lingard able to secure the kill. Fnatic, it took them 3 chances, but they finally bully their way into the base and close this game out in 28 minutes. Outlandish, they're not going to fountain dive. Please don't fountain dive. No, there we go. Fnatic take the win. 28 minutes on the clock. Kova, they put up a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. They never gave up at any point. Credit to Fnatic. They get the win. They've equalized their score, obviously, with that loss against Barrage, but it still felt... it left me a bit wanting because I feel like this should have been a clean-cut 21, 22, 23-minute game. Instead, it got extended. There were mistakes. They got greedy. And it's obviously, it sounds really critical, but our expectations are sky high for this roster. You know, the organization has such a merit, not just in Fnatic as a whole, but Fnatic Rising in the UK and in the NLC. And especially with the roster they have, we don't expect them to be making mistakes like that. And then, yes, they have a sub, but in honesty, Lingard played that game as well as he could. He was actually really solid in the Maokai. So really, I don't think that's any sort of viable reasoning. We expect more from Fnatic, but they got the win. And
Exactly.
Kova, it's still good to see they're showing the life.
Yeah, I think if you tuned into this game and didn't kind of have any background context, it would look like we were maybe being a little bit overly harsh on Fnatic. They got Ocean Soul, they got the Barons, they took the base, they got a charge onto a Nexus tower from Shelly, and it was like they just had control the whole game. But even so, this is a team who we have such high expectations from, and it still feels like they're a step away from the likes of XL, who are the other academy team in the league. It's still a win for Fnatic, and I think they can be happy with it, but I think there's still a long way to go before they look like the kind of Fnatic that will take the title. Guys, we're going to throw to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll have a little bit more insight from our guys on the desk, so we'll see you in a second.
Welcome back. That felt like the Fnatic Rising that we were expecting coming into this split. It was a dominant display from start to finish. Some minor hiccups here or there, but nothing that we could really criticize them too heavily for. And this is kind of what I was hoping to see from Fnatic, especially against a team like Kova. I don't want to put Kova down or anything, but, you know, a team of a caliber like Fnatic Rising, they should be having these dominant victories. And I think that was what I wanted to see from them here. What was it really? What do you really feel was the major key to success for Fnatic? Was it just great macro play as a team, or was there any individual players that stood out?
So I really liked the early game. I thought that what I wanted from the higher level team was that they could display jungle support synergy, and I felt like we really got out of that this game. Like, it felt like the 2 kills coming through in the early game was enabled from Rox, which was enabled by Maxium, him always being together, having complete Vivro control. And by that, when you got that snowball gaming going, it just worked out for them.
To be fair, I just really like the way that the communication felt like was flowing. You know, Lingard was having a much better time with the Maokai in the top lane. He seemed to have a lot of plays throughout this thing. And I'll mention something that, you know, Goldbox said, the fact that Rax was like roaming the entire time. Well, that was because Bean had everything under control. You know, they were pushing double waves, which meant the Kai'Sa could not leave the lane. Then they would have the Thresh roam in the mid lane. And we literally thought, you know, all the setup they had was basically Thresh, and they would have to move down the bot lane. But why move down the bot lane when the Thresh can move to you, you know, and get an Orianna fed very early into the game?
Absolutely. And actually, speaking of the Orianna, we have Fabiven ready to chat for an interview. So I'm going to bring in Febby. Hey, Fabiven, hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good time on Fnatic Rising. First of all, kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how we kind of mentioned this felt like the Fnatic Rising that we were expecting coming into the split. Like, it was a very dominant performance. We kind of felt like you should have had that dominant performance. What kind of lessons did you take from yesterday into today just to kind of find your flow again?
I mean, it's just getting comfortable, I guess. The first game, I don't know, like, it was just a bad game, I think. But I think it's always better to lose in the beginning, from my experience. And I don't think anyone really. I mean, obviously we were a bit upset, but we could like laugh it off a bit as well, because we're playing with a sub as well. But yeah, I mean, just fuck ups happen, right? And today we played way better.
Yeah, of course. You had a really solid performance today. I've actually got a couple of questions. Analyst had a specific question for you. You didn't build a mythic early on in Orianna. What's kind of your thought process with your item build path this time around?
I mean, I tried this build a little bit, and it gives you the most flat AP, and I actually got my tier stacked really fast. And I don't know, it just gives a little bit more damage, and it's, I don't know, it just felt comfortable from my solo queue games.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just kind of more interested from your perspective, and it's good to hear that. Now, I have some more personal questions for you, and I hope these are okay to talk about. Obviously, coming from the LEC, like, you've had to, like, I guess, have a mindset shift. You know, you were quite open on Twitter that you were saying, I'm happy to go and work my way back through the European regional leagues to make it back to the top. What has that mindset been like for you, kind of going from that position to this position and kind of making that journey again once more?
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, first of all, it was really difficult to accept, I guess, after playing so many years of LEC. I've thought about quitting and retiring, and had some dark moments. But eventually I feel like I am too good right now to quit. I'm at my peak, I feel like, and I'm only improving, and I think I just need to have patience, and I have the belief in myself that I'm good enough. So I think it's just a matter of patience and time for me to get back. And even if I don't, I think I mean, I still really love and enjoy the game, and I love working in a team setting, and it's just really fun. Even though it's in academy, I think it's kind of the same progress. It's just process. I mean, there's like, maybe the league is a little bit worse in terms of skill, but it's still kind of the same with the schedule and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just excited to play again, I guess.
Yeah, and look, and you had an absolutely stellar game. I don't think anybody doubts how good you are at the game, and I'm just excited for you to kind of show yourself and show what you're capable of again. And one last question, and this is going to be another interesting one, and I'd love to get your honest opinion on it. Did you feel any pressure when coming into a league like this to act like a superstar carry? You know, like almost like I have to carry, you know, myself. Did you feel that pressure, or did you just want to come in and be what you needed to be for the team?
No, I think I have. I've had so many games or like so much pressure on me before that I know how to deal with it, and I think naturally I know what I'm supposed to do, and I don't really let anything affect me like that, I guess. Especially when it's online, right? It's like you're playing from home. It's like really comfortable, and like also in this league there's not that many people watching compared to like playing on a big stage or like playing LEC, right? So it's just very normal and natural to just perform at what I have to win the games.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's definitely the mindset. It would be most healthy, I guess, going forward for you in Fnatic Rising. I hope that we get to see you dominate the league. I hope we get to see you in the European Masters as well, and eventually back to the LEC. Febby, thanks for being so honest with me. Thanks for having those discussions, and hopefully get to chat to you soon.
Thank you so much. And
sorry about Rupert crying in the background. Okay. Yeah, no. We've all got these at-home problems, guys. Don't worry. Real baby rage going on in the back of my screen. Look, we've got
original baby rage.
The original baby rage. Right, I'm going to get a play to break down. I'm quickly going to allow you to break that down, and I'm going to go do dad things.
Thank you. Have fun doing dad things. Once again, welcome to the class, everyone. This time we're going to be talking about Aphelios into Kai'Sa. Essentially, what this means is just infinite priority. You will always be able to push it in. Throughout the game, Bean is able to get so many plates, and that's also why he gets such a lead against the Kai'Sa that we will also see later into the game. But going on to it, like as I said, you get this infinite prio, and what we talked about on the analyst desk as well is that the fact that they get this prio, the fact that Bean is able to play so far forward, means that look at the minimap right now. Maxi and Rooks is able to walk out together, and essentially this gank shouldn't come out from Kova because they should know that they're moving up right here. They should have the intel. Shockwaves come in, and it's just easy cleanup for Maxi and Rooks, and it all comes from that priority. It all comes from that synergy between jungler and support roaming out to help their mid laner.
I think that's something where in the draft you can get so much advantage just purely picking priority. You know, it's it's almost like a buzzword, you know, priority this, priority that, and I can't do this because I don't priority. It's like the word's almost lost its meaning, but it's one of those kind of unseen factors in League where you're not getting kills, you're not getting assists, but you are getting so much pressure, and that enables you to make plays just like you said, where you can get the kills and assists.
And I think a reason why the word has lost its meaning is because sometimes you'll talk about, oh, this is priority lane, and the teams will just never do anything about that priority. They won't use it for jungle support synergy. They won't use it for this roam. They will try and connect the dive. They'll fail a gank. They will miss reset timers. I think a lot of the times it's just not being played throughout as well as it should be. But I think right now, Fnatic right there displayed how it should be done, just in general.
Well, it's good to see Fnatic back at sort of at least towards peak performance. You know, we want to see this team perform at the level we were expecting from them. And again, I think just seeing that performance against Kova gives me confidence that maybe Fnatic are going to go from strength to strength here, especially I think when they bring Pride back into the roster, we may see them, you know, gain even more in that sense. Anyway, it was really nice to talk to Febby. Great to have that breakdown, Gould, as well. I'm loving Professor Gouldborg today. We have another game coming your way, though. So when we come back after a break, we'll jump into our final game of the night.